being an only child as well,
Mhm.
and understanding um, to see another perspective and
Mm.
to understand that how I may feel about something or how I perceive something is not the same way that somebody else perceives it. And
Mhm.
to be able to come together and, talk that thing out. Because, um, again, being an only child, I wasn't, it's just some things I was used to and I wasn't used to. And so it is definitely a learning process. And my biggest thing, and we talked about this before, my biggest thing is that I've learned how to communicate better. Meaning
Yes.
I've learned how to listen, and
Mhm. Mhm.
before I was only listening to either respond or I was listening. I was listening in 3D: deflection, denial, and defense. I was
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
looking, I was going to deflect and turn it around to something that was done before. So if he said, well, when you said this to me, I felt this way or whatever, I was going to say, well, last week when you said such and such to me, I didn't say nothing. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. Yeah.
to defend and say, well, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. You took it the wrong way. Or, had you not said this, I wouldn't have said that. I've
Mm.
never really been a denier. Like if I said it, I would not just flat out be like, no, I didn't say it. But in a way, when you try to deflect, you're denying your responsibility and denying taking accountability for your words. And so I think for me, learning that communication is not just talking, because that I do very well. And I can drag a point on for 2 years. But to
I
actually
rolled through that head up, boy.
to listen, to understand, man, let me tell you, and he'll tell you if I write a note, it's over. It's over. 'Cause
So whereas some men hate to hear, "Can we talk?" He hates to see some
See,
paper
see a
coming.
letter. Oh
When I
Lord.
see that letter coming, I'm like, oh my
Oh
goodness.
Lord.
I said,
No.
honey, let's just talk about it. He said, no, I want you to read this.
Well, hey, Tyrone, what was the longest? Like 5, 10 pages? How long was that thing?
Average 5 to 10.
And we'll add here that Berlin is an author. So
Yes. She definitely is.
Yes.
So Tyrone, what did you learn? What types of things have you had to course correct to make sure that the two of you are here with us 19 years later, smiling?
Yes.
Well, like she talking about, that rough road that we started out on. I had to learn, to put Verlin first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, coming out of another marriage, you'll drag stuff into a marriage,
Yes.
and I did that. I brought a lot of baggage with me that I'm grateful now that I don't have to worry about that anymore because she is first now.
Yes.
Nobody comes before her. Children, my mom and dad are gone, but nobody, comes before her now. I've made that point clear, and when you're so used to just doing whatever you want, saying what you want, and not really having any sympathy or concern or compassion for somebody else's feelings unconsciously, not, you're not, I wasn't being devious or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just a norm for me. If one of my children say, hey, dad, then, hey, look, Verl, I'll be back. I'm going over here. I'm going to do this. Or if one of them came over here and did something, I would say, okay, well, look, don't worry. It's okay, but it wasn't okay. And
Right.
it took me a while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned from this relationship is that as the priest of my home, there's certain things that I have to do. And if I don't do those things, then it's going to cause confusion. And I'm not going to have a happy home because my wife is not happy because I'm not doing the things that I should be doing. And
Mm-hmm.
once I got that together, then things began to smooth out for me. And a lot of people that, and I say family or friends, they realize that, hey, guess what? He's with Verlin, and
Mhm.
that's his family,
Mm-hmm.
because for a while, I don't even think that Verla felt though she was my wife, because she had made comments, I don't feel like I'm your wife, and that
Mm.
hit home too, so I'm like, wow, hey, I'm married to you and you don't feel like you're my wife. Well,
Mm-hmm.
naturally, I'm not treating you like you're my wife. I'm
Right.
treating
Right.
you like it's somebody I just met, and you some kind of associates and all of that. But once I
Mm.
begin to, to root in and, become stronger, because it was a challenge for me to tell my children no, or no, uh, to make the point that Verl was my wife. It was like the children are first. Hey, look, I'm gonna take care of my children. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
met you
Mhm.
and you're nice, but these are my children. So that was
Yeah.
and it's a growing experience.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's nothing that I saw, coming. It was just like all of a sudden I'm in this situation and there was no prepping for it. I didn't go to
Mm-hmm.
any
Mhm.
kind of a counselor and say, hey, look, you've been in this situation there. This is your wife, and these are the things that you need to be doing. And it wasn't like I had older brothers or older sisters or
Mhm.
mom or dad that would set me down and say, son, look, this is what you need to be doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
so I was learning as I was going, and it very, very complicated for a while. But hey, after a decade or so, hey, we're still here. Hallelujah.